Go ahead and record. All right, so it's already April 7th, so we are well into our way of quarter two. So let's go ahead and start this morning. We've got Fred said from LA this morning, which will be really fun. I want to thank, I want to just go ahead and shout out and start gratitudes. I want to thank Jordan. She held our Texas Power Up last week while I was on vacation, and that was really awesome. And she is awesome. So thank you so much, Jordan, for doing that. And she is always showing up as a leader in our life. So very grateful for that. Jaime, gratitude, shout out. What is it?
Yeah, well, first I want to give a shout out to Fred for all he does for the 1,000 Dial Day. And, I actually posted on our Slack channel earlier because you asked, what are we doing to win this week? And, what I put, it was, it's not about the 1,000 dials. It's about what happens during the 1,000 dials. Because we grew together as a team. We were all in the same room. It was like, and like we were laughing at each other because like you all make comments. We make comments after they hang up, be like, okay, thank you for hanging up on me, or whatever. And so Fred, thank you so much for that. And I want to give a shout out to the team for the grit and humility for growth. I mean, everything that we went through yesterday. We got a lot of work to do importing everybody into the database. So thank you all.
Oh, I love that. That's a good shout out to start us off with. So just get your hands up, go to reactions, put your hand up for gratitude and shout outs. I was sitting in last night in bed and I was like thinking about this morning's power up, and I found this quote. It's by Albert Schweitzer. And he said, at times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. And so who has been the spark in your week? Helen. Morning.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So I wanted to shout out Carrie on the Grimion group team here in Houston. She has been through just a tremendous amount of setbacks since she's started her business and joined Place. I mean, at one point she was like stuck in another country, and then she was able to get home, and then someone had vandalized her sign on her listing, and it was just like there's been so many things going on and coming up against her, and she just like pushes and she powers through all of the obstacles. And so I just wanted to shout her out because she's very tiny. She's the most like precious, petite little, she's like a little Barbie doll. She's perfect, but she's tiny but mighty. And so I wanted to, I've been meaning to shout her out, but I keep missing it. So I want to make sure I did that this morning.
I love that. That's a great shout out. Tiny and mighty. And man, we all have, no matter what size we are on the outside, right? Inside, we all have like those tiny and mighty, like little bursts of courage that it takes to get it done, and a bias for action. And that's what makes us really special. This is what makes entrepreneurs successful. So I love that. She just gets it done, doesn't she, Helen? That'll work. Definitely a big shout out to everyone who did the 1,000 Dial Day yesterday. Who all on the call did that? Anybody on our call? 1,000 Dial Day yesterday. Oh my gosh. So, okay, quite a few of you. I love that. How was that experience? Did you learn anything? Anyone have anything that they want to share before we jump into our topic with Fred? Yesterday's 1,000 Dial Day. I won't go on. So somebody's got to say something brilliant, or it was horrible and nobody should ever do it ever. Like, tell us if that's the truth. We'll wait. Because I know like 30 of you did it. So that's like a third of the call. Jen, woo, tell us about it. I saw your hand.
Yeah.
You got to be real careful. Don't even move.
Like maybe I'm not on the first page. So I had to check all my overdue tasks. So if you just go into task and hit overdue, you cannot pull it up on the dialer that way. You have to go into leads, the filtered leads, past due, and then click select all. By doing that, and once I hit the dialer went on, I did not have time to think about who was coming up next. And I could not get inside myself in my head long enough to decide, I don't want to call these people, or no, that's going to be a use. And I will tell you about 6 different times that people's names came up and I'm like, this one, are we going to answer? And they did. And I passed them along to get pre-qualified. So, you know, it made me deal with my BS that I tell myself inside my head why I won't call these people, or they're a waste, right? We start labeling people in our database already. And I take really good notes. So whenever I see my really good notes, I'm like, I can dump them. But using the dialer in that situation, one, it made me tackle my past dues, which have been called out quite a bit at the BKT Dallas team. And I wasn't scared to call people that I didn't want to talk to.
I love that. Gosh, it's just, we all have our biases, don't we? Like even Jen, how long have you been here? You've been like in real estate now, like a few years.
2.5 years. Yeah.
2.5 years. Yeah. Like even Jen has biases when she goes into she is just like you. She goes into Brivity and she's like, not going to call this person. Nope. No, they're not ready for my call. Overdue, but I'm overdue so long that I don't even know what to say. Oh man, Jen, thanks for saying that. Well, then this power up will be just perfect for you. I feel like you just set that right up. We have one of my favorite guys, Fred said, joining us this morning. He is, for all of you who were here last time, Fred, it's been almost a year since we last talked to you. But if you weren't here about a year ago, Fred is in the LA market and also Orange County. So he has a very big radius, just like you guys. You guys loved his energy last time and his content. So this morning, you know, bright and early, 6:30 a.m. California time, he made the time to pour into us. Chris had a conflict. Chris will join us again first week of May. So don't worry, he is still coming on. He's on a flight right now, and we can't work around that. So you know, he's going to be on a flight during the entire time he committed to us. So it's fine. We have the second best person, right? Or the first best, and now Chris is second best, right, Fred? So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to him. But what I encourage you is engagement comes in many forms, and one of those forms is when you are on video. And I don't like whether you get on video or don't get on video. I want it for you, not for me, because I'm not Ben. I'm not gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna kick you off if you're not on video, but it is for you. The more engaged I tend to be is when I am actually paying attention. It's just one of those things, right? So we're gonna unpack a few things. Fred's got some stuff to talk about, but let's go ahead and I'm gonna spotlight you, Mr. Fred, and make you, let's see, spotlight you, make you co-host, all sorts of powers this morning as we get started, in case you have anything you want to share. So Fred is going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Here's what I encourage you guys to do. We talked about bias for action. The most successful people have a bias for action. So if you hear Fred this morning for the next 30 minutes and you're inspired, and you never do anything with it, you were just entertained. And gosh, man, we're not here to entertain, are we? Right? Like, I mean, Fred is entertaining, but like, it's entertaining is not going to add any money in your bank account. So bias for action. As he's talking, write something down that you're going to apply to your business. Then you got something out of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even show up to the call. Pointless. You're just getting entertained. Go do that with your family. It's way more fun. So Fred, we're here to take action. Tell us a little bit about you, what area you serve. Tell us about your team. Just start us off, and then we'll just plug away.
Cool. Well, let me, excuse me. Let me start off with one thing real quick. First of all, good morning, Texas. Hope you guys are all doing amazing. You are such an eloquent leader compared to me. I am so direct and I am so rough around the edges with my team. If they don't have the camera on, I'm kicking them the hell off the call. So very good job on your part. I'm just really direct. Cheers to that. Let me read something to you guys real quick. Obviously, I led the 100,000 dial day yesterday, but I'm pretty impressed so far. Just tallying the numbers this morning. As of yesterday, I have 64 people, 66 people reporting that participated throughout the nation. I have 44,359 dials so far. I have 4,977 contacts and conversations so far. I have 566 nurtures added to Brivity so far, and I have 91 listing appointments set.
Wow, 91
so far, and I'm at like probably, I think we're at like say 35 or 40% reporting. So
okay, so I just put, if you did 1,000 dial day yesterday,
report,
update your report.
Go to,
I put the link in so we can all do it, everybody who did it, and get those numbers up. All right, Fred, cool.
Second thing I want to say before I introduce myself is I want you to write down a quote real quick. Adelina hit it on the head, but this quote changed my life years ago when I joined KW as a single agent in 2014. It's knowledge that's implemented equals wisdom. So knowledge that's implemented equals wisdom. I'll say it again. Knowledge that's implemented equals wisdom. It's basically a variation of what Adelina just said right now. And then third, I wish I was tiny and mighty myself. I've been working on the same one pack since I stopped playing football. So I love, Helen, your comment because it inspired me to be tiny and mighty. We'll see how that works out in the near future. I'll keep you posted. So my name is Fred Said. I've been a real estate agent since March of 2004. I'm 18 years in the business. I started when I was 20. I am 38 now. I joined Keller Williams as a single agent in January of 2014, doing 6 transactions, 10 transactions a year, 5 million in volume and 100 in revenue on my own. I was only netting 20 grand because that's what happens when you're a solo agent. When you GCI want, 100 grand. And then I built a team through KW, MREA models, et cetera, grew it to $1 million in revenue. And then I partnered with the Ben Kinney team in July of 2019. And then last year, I'm proud to say we did over 170 units, 101 million and 2.3 in GCI at like a 30%, almost 30% profit margin, which for us, that's important. So calculating those things because we're in business to make a profit, and that goes to each one of you as well. So, and I serve all of Southern California. So if you think of Southern California, I have agents in 4 market centers in OC and LA. So we're spread into a very, very large region intentionally with some talented people. So if you have any referrals in SoCal, a lot of you on this call has actually sent me referrals in the past, and I greatly appreciate that. I love the opportunity, but let's bring some value for today, Miss Adelina.
Okay, well, let's well, first of all, I want to go to my email, and we're gonna talk about. I wanted to talk about listings. We've been talking about leads, listings, leverage, profit, and I love that you just started actually with profit because you went from $20,000 profit. What was your percentage back then?
Oh gosh, well, I was doing $1 million in GCI up
until
I was doing $1 million in GCI.
Money.
And but I was doing $1 million in GCI in 2018 before I partnered with Ben, and I think I was doing like 9 or 10% in profit. So I was like netting 100 grand on $1 million in revenue, which is not that good, by the way.
No, not really good. Just imagine like not real good. That's a lot of work. Okay, cool. Well, I love that you shared that. So great job on improving that greatly with your team over there. So I had a couple questions. Let's start with a couple of them. When you're lead generating, when you and your team are lead generating, let's talk about Brivity valuation leads. Are you approaching them at all? Do you guys even do Brivity valuation leads in your market? And if so, what does that initial conversation sound like? And what does potential follow-up sound like? Because we have 2 problems in Texas when I log into Brivity accounts. We're not making the call fast enough because we might not know what to say. And then we definitely don't follow up enough times because we're not closing the deals. So any insight on just that?
Yeah, I do. So here's my quick and dirty when it comes to Brivity home valuation leads or any home valuation leads, right? Number one, we do collect them, and there's 2 variations, right? Number one, there's a full lead variation where they input their email and their phone number. And then there's a partial lead where they just input their address. So when it comes to the full, as soon as a lead comes in, it's like any other lead that you receive whatsoever. Inbound, sign call, home valuation, Brivity lead, whatever, right? It's speed to lead. Speed to lead used to be you have to call a lead between like 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. within 5 minutes of it coming in. But the key thing is you want to be able to call them within 90 seconds of the lead coming in. So in today's world, because of technology and apps and everything else, you have to call them as fast as possible. Number one. Doesn't matter where you're at, grocery store, picking up the kids, whatever, right? Number two, what do you say? Even if you don't know what to say, and I know Jennifer was very vulnerable and being honest about what she said earlier about the whole past due tasks, and I thought that was pretty badass the way that she said it, because it doesn't allow her mind to get in the way of her success in that given moment, and that's powerful, right? So I would just pick up the phone, and if I know it's a home valuation, ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Fred with Keller Williams and Place. I'm giving you a call because hey, you stopped by my website. It sounds like you were looking at what your home is worth, and I just want to reach out, introduce myself, and I want to answer any questions that you may have had.
How easy is that? I
Yeah.
want to answer any questions that you may have had.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, you're seeking to understand. You're seeking to understand, right? It's inbound lead. It's inbound marketing 101. Whether it's a home valuation or a buyer lead, you have to be in that mode. I grew up in inbound marketing. My dad was a wholesale car dealer back in the early 90s and late 80s in Southern California. He was the guy like in the yellow pages that said, I'll buy your car running or not running. If you've ever seen those ads before, that was my dad. He dropped 10 grand a month in the yellow pages. He generated anywhere from 15 to 25 inbound calls to a cell phone a day. And he would pick up the phone call, ring, ring. Hey, hi, can I help you? Great. Is your car running or not running? Any body damage? Salvage title? What do you want to get for it? And at that point, he would disperse and say, no, I can't offer that. Peace out. Or, hey, I'll see you in 2 hours. So he just had a simple script. So no matter who called him, I can help you, running or not running. Like I was sitting in the car as a kid and I still remember a script. You feel me? Yeah. So for us, we can't overcomplicate things. And we have to be able to have a basic script. Even if you get a lead of any sort and you don't have time to even say, was it brevity, home valuation, referral? I don't know. Call them. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Fred with Keller Williams in Place. I'm giving you a call because you just reached out to my site for some reason. I want to reach out. Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And I just want to be a resource to you. Like, even if you don't know, call them. Call them because speed to lead trumps anything else. You have their attention. If they came through your site for a home valuation or online, inbound or buyer lead, they're on the site. I mean, that would be phenomenal value that you can provide to them if you could just call them right away.
I love that. I love that. Gosh, it doesn't sound like that hard. It sounds like we overcomplicate it. Why do you think we overcomplicate it actually?
Because we're human beings and we have a voice in our heads called subconscious, drunk monkey, Satan, whatever you believe in. And that voice is wanting to keep us in a box. And it spits out limiting beliefs and is the biggest opposition to our future growth. It's the biggest opposition to our future growth. So we have to be able to combat that. And how we combat that is we counteract what that voice says. No, you can't get up and go to the gym today. Listen, mofo, I'm getting up this morning and I'm going to the gym. You counteract it, right? No, I'm not getting out that phone. No, I can't take a listing this month. No, I'm not worthy of it. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's very difficult to do. And that's why we all have to counteract the negativity and what that voice in our head that keeps us in a comfortable box. We have to input positivity in our mind. We have to listen to 15 minutes of a positive audio daily of some sort, like a podcast. We have to read 10 pages of a good book per day. If we can do the 15-10 method, which I learned from an author by the name of Jeff Olson that wrote The Slight Edge, my favorite book of all time, you will counteract that. And over time, you'll have an amazing compound effect of positivity in your mind and your soul. That's the only way we can survive and thrive in this industry, especially in a shifting market.
I love that. I love that. What about circle prospecting? Let's go down that route, perhaps. Are you guys actually taking any listings with circle prospecting? Is it a waste of time? Are you doing it for buyers? Like, walk us through the topic of circle prospecting, because it's something that we initially do and launch for like a couple weeks, and then most of us stop. And I hear like it's kind of you guys' superpower. So what do you want to say about that?
It is the number one, and I will go toe to toe and I will battle anybody about this in the nation. On stage, on Facebook Live, I give a rat's ass. It is the best seller lead gen pillar if you want to build a predictable long-term listing-based business. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if you're not doing it, get your ass on the phone and hit the phones and do it consistently.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Here's what I mean. We didn't really start circle prospecting until I partnered with Ben in 2019. It's 3 years ago. So I've been doing this a long time. I was an inbound marketer. I was marketing based and prospecting enhanced. And then I realized with Ben and my coaching and my vulnerability that I authentically wanted to build a powerhouse and I wanted to change so many lives in Southern California for those that work with me that I had to flip it, right? I had to go prospecting based and then marketing enhanced. One of the ways that I wanted to do prospecting based, and I studied the lead gen pillars, I said, circle prospecting, this thing is pretty cool. I get to cold call, which sucks, but I get to cold call a lot of people and I get to ask basic questions and I can just add people into the database that want to sell in the future. And if I do a good job of keeping in touch with them and I provide value for the next 6 or 24 months, there's a likelihood that they're only going to interview with me and they're not going to interview with a neighborhood specialist or anybody else. So I called it the hidden gem of residential real estate from a listing standpoint. It's the consistency that matters. See that you can get short-term results from circle prospecting and you can get long-term results. The key thing is you have to do it. So to answer your question, I think we're going to do, our unit count is almost the same this year. We start off a little bit slow, but we'll do another 160 to 190 units this year. But our volume is going to go to 125 million. But I think of the 190, we're probably going to do 40 or 45 closings from circle prospecting this year. I mean, it's a significant percentage for us this year. Last year was only 10 units, but we've been building nurtures over nurtures. We've been adding hundreds, if not thousands of seller nurtures in the past 3 years inside of Brivity, and they're starting to churn. And not just that, my agents have been doing it for so long, they're getting so skilled, they're able to convert quicker and faster with circle prospecting leads immediately. And I talked about that yesterday when I did the power up for Place Nation around the one-liner closes that we use to get a homeowner on the phone, circle prospecting or not, to get them to ask a certain question, interrupt their thought pattern of wanting to hang up on you and say, excuse me, what did you say? Okay, I'm interested in selling my home.
Okay, what does that sound like?
Cool. So let me, gosh, what did I do with it? I can share my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull
Our
it up.
co-host.
It's on the Our Happy Facebook group page. If you guys want the PDF, it's on there. I posted it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Let me, oh, there it is. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Let me zoom in. So let me give you context. And I think I hope this changes your perception on just anything right now. And no matter what's going on in your market, and I'm sure you guys have low inventory in Texas like we do in Southern California. You're no different, I think.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
January 2nd to February 7th in Southern California, specifically Orange County, which is our dominant market. At least the data that I track, we had between 950 and 1,050 listings on the market at any one time, which is about 70% less than the normal. Okay. And not to mention that my team did a abysmal job. And abysmal means garbage, just so we're clear, a really bad job at their activity. My team on average, we do anywhere from probably on the low end, I would say 5,000, on the high end, probably 9,000 dials a week outbound, my team in Southern California. So we do a decent amount of dials, I would say weekly, right? We did like 2,000 a week that month. It was horrific. But here's the crazy thing. From January 2nd to February 7th, my team took 22 listings during that 35-day span, which was the most amount of listings, at least we ever took during a 35-day span for our team. And I was dumbfounded and I knew why, but then I'm like, wow, this is crazy. These one-liners work. What I forced my team to do, I said, guys, gals, go to everybody in your database or every cold call that you do or new person you talk to and just create urgency immediately. Everybody's motivated at one point in their life about selling their home. Right? Somebody is. I'll sell in 10 years. My kids graduate high school. There's motivation there. It's down in the barrel of their stomach, right? But it's there. When you create urgency with a human being that owns a piece of real estate, excuse me, they come up to the surface. At least the ones that are truly motivated to do something quick, it'll come up to the surface. So I came up with these one-liners myself and I wrote them because I'm like, hey, we're using them. I'm using them in active prospecting because I sell 40 homes a year myself personally, right? So I looked at this and I'm like, this stuff works. So here's some of the one-liners we've used since January 2nd, and they work till this day, right? And these go towards brand new circle prospecting, brand new FSBOs, expireds, old follow-ups, past clients, referrals, everybody, home valuations, everybody. The first one is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we know what we can net you in today's market, yet if the market changes, that won't be the case. Now, my variation of this is because our market has been changing the past month and a half. Rates have gone up from 3% to 5% basically in 60 days. That's insane, right? So what I'm saying is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we know what we can net you in today's market, yet if the market continues to change, that won't be the case. Like Ben and Chris say, words are powerful. Next one is, if I can net you what you need now, then why would you wait? If I can net you what you need now, why would you wait? Because you said, if I can net you 150,000, that'll get you into the next home that's 4-bedroom, 3-car garage and a driveway. Well, I can get you that today, it sounds like. Let's get together and talk about what that looks like. I have time later today at 4, tomorrow at 5. What works better for you? Next one, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the inventory is the lowest that it's ever been. And we know that we can get you more money than ever before. If we can do the same thing for you, would you consider selling in the next 90 days? The anchor and the hammer in that question, would you consider selling in the next 90 days? It's a very direct question. And then last but not least, and be careful with these two numbers, and I'll tell you why in a second. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're currently getting our sellers 50 to 150,000 above market value. If we could do the same thing for you, would you consider selling in the next 90 days? Now, my average price point for my team is between 700 and $1 million, right? So like the last 2 listings I sold in the past 2 weeks, I sold one for 205 grand above market value. And I sold one 2 days ago for 350 grand above market value. So these numbers work for me. Put the numbers that you know work for you in those 2 boxes, if that makes sense. Okay.
Absolutely. So about 7% is kind of like, 50,000 of 700,000, about 7%. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. And I used to use percentages, Adelina, when it comes to telling a seller I
Yeah.
can get you 10%, but the numbers mean more.
The
numbers mean more.
Money in your pocket.
Yeah.
What's your script? Like if you guys are calling, what does that sound like? What are some of your favorites or your favorite? Anthony in Houston, thanks for asking that question.
Yeah. So Anthony, I use, if you go to the toolkit, and you could write this down, go to the toolkit, and then under the toolkit, go to mastery, and under mastery, go to seller resources, and scroll down to the bottom of seller resources, okay, where it says seller scripts, and then you'll see circle prospecting / just listed, just sold. So once again, because I memorized this, toolkit, then mastery, then seller resources, then scroll down to the bottom left-hand corner, all the way to the bottom, and then look for circle prospecting, which is the just listed or just sold variation. So while we're talking about circle prospecting, here's my thing. Here's why I love circle prospecting and why my team is required to do it unless you have more than 2 rolling pendings. I don't hold you to a standard. My team standards are 750 dials a week or more, outbound calling, 50 dials or more in Brivity, and 2 open houses conducted a week. Those are the 3 major standards, and attend 4 of our power-ups, because we only have 4 power-ups because we're on Chris's call on Fridays, right? Now, here's the dynamic. I lead with circle prospecting and cold calling and prospecting only because once I can get a partner of mine to get comfortable and skilled in converting cold people, everything else is an absolute piece of cake. Everything else is a piece of cake. Inbound leads, no problem. Open house, oh my gosh, walk in the park. That's why we lead with that. That's why I love it so much. It's the holistic approach, and it's the infinite game that I think about when it comes to building a predictable listing business in any shifting market. So Anthony, with that foundation, I like the circle prospecting script that's just listed, just sold. There's a couple of variations of circle prospecting that y'all can see. I've been to Texas, I said y'all, that you guys can think about, right? And number 1, it's straight cold calling. Right? Cold calling is ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Fred with Place in Keller Williams. I'm giving you a call because I wanted to see if you're thinking about selling your home in the next 6 or 12 months. No value, straight cold call. Not really a fan of that. If you have to do it, I'm not a fan. Number 2, I like the just listed or just sold variation of it. The reason why is because I'm calling with some sort of value. Hey, ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Fred said with Place in Keller Williams. I'm giving you a call because I just listed your neighbor's property down the street. I promised them that I would tell all the homeowners about their property. And I wanted to see if you knew anybody that was thinking about making a move into this awesome community. Oh, you don't? Do you know anybody thinking about selling so that I can get them top dollar? Oh, you don't? Have you thought about selling your home in the next 1, 3, or 5 years? Maybe? Awesome. What I'd like to do is set up a time where we can get together so I can talk about the value of your home in today's crazy market and talk about what that would look like if I can get you absolute top dollar and then get you moved on to the next endeavor. I have time later today at 4 o'clock or tomorrow at 5. What works better for you? Also, in the meantime, can I get your email address? Because I have an amazing tool called a market report that I have thousands of homeowners on in Southern California. And I want to get that to you. And it shows you everybody who's on the market in your neighborhood, in escrow, under contract, or sold in the past 30 days. Way more accurate data than Zillow or Redfin or anybody else. Where can I send it to?
Love it.
That's kind of the variation, Anthony, of the circle prospecting script in a nutshell. I love it. I just think I'm a huge fan of that script. I also love LP Mama, which you guys should know. And one of my simplest but most game-changing scripts of all time is Ben's open house script. People come to my open houses for one of two reasons. Number one, they're a homeowner in the area, curious what their home is worth. Or number two, they're out shopping for homes, looking to buy real estate. Which one are you? We've generated, I don't know, I think we've generated not a lot, but we'll probably out of the 120, 130 listings we'll take this year, 40 will be circle prospecting. I think somewhere between 20 or 25 will come from open houses.
Wow, that's high.
Because of that, script for open houses.
Can you say it again one more time? Because I feel like people zoned out for a second, but they're zoning back in because they heard sellers from
Man, the tea hasn't even kicked in. The caffeine's not in my blood.
I know,
I'm barely getting going, bro. I'm barely getting going. I got to drop my kids off in like 20 minutes at school.
Let's go, Fred. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. People come to my open houses for one of two reasons. Number one, they're a homeowner in the area and they're curious what their home is worth. Or number two, they're a buyer out shopping for homes. Which one are you? It's Ben's open house script. That's also in the toolkit as well.
Do you ever get the objection that they cannot replace their current home?
7 days a week, 7 days a week, 24/7.
Oh, you're just like us. Awesome. Okay. So what happens when you hear that?
Here's the thing. I was getting that, I would say end of December, early January myself. And I'm like hitting my head. I'm like, dude, what do I do? What do I do? And then I made a pivot, of course, correct. And what I said is, why am I selling them over the phone? That's not my job. My job is to get them to an appointment and then use the appointment as a filter to determine if I can serve their needs. So here's what I did. Imagine I'm calling a homeowner and this homeowner would obviously want to sell and buy, but in their mind, they believe that, hey, I can get great money for my house, but dude, I'm not paying 5% rates and I'm going to just do a level up trade. I'm not even going to go up because the prices are so ridiculous. And I don't want to be homeless if I sold my house because I can't find something. That whole dynamic, right, Adelina, we're talking about? Cool.
Yeah.
So here's what I would say. I would say, hey, John, I completely understand. We know we can get you top dollar. I don't even know what I can get you on the purchase. Here's what I'd like to do. I just want to take 15 minutes. I just want to run some numbers. Let me ask you a question. If an ideal perfect world, if all the dominoes fell into place, I can get you top dollar. I can take the proceeds. I can put it as a down payment and closing costs on the next one. I can get you the house that you want. I can get you the payment that you want. That's all that's left, by the way, John. If I can make that happen, would you be open to the idea? They're going to say yes. I haven't had anybody say no to me to that. Right? Unless they're literally the ones that are going to die in their house. If so, we wouldn't even got to that point to begin with.
Right.
Because they wouldn't have said, I would love to sell, but I can't. So what I do is I have that dynamic. Here's a couple points that you want to be able to do. Number one, you want to take that type of person and just say that, hey, in a perfect world, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If I can sell your home for top dollar, get you the home that you want, get you the price that you want, and get you the payment that you want, and have no additional cash out of your pocket for down payment on the purchase. Would you be open to looking at what that would potentially look like? It's such a subjective, no obligation approach. You understand?
I kind of like 4 yeses in there.
Yes.
That because my mind said yes every time you asked the question.
Yes.
You made it easy for me to say yes.
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do. In order to do that, technically and financially, you need what their loan payoff is on their first or second on their primary home that you want to sell. Number two, you want to have a general minimum criteria of what they want their next purchase to look like as far as bed, bath, square footage, location, etc., specs. Number three, you want to know what their next out the door payment does not want to exceed, PITIA, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and if they have association dues depending on their neighborhood. So if they say, okay, because you think their home is worth, like say $500,000, they owe $250,000. on the current home, and they don't want to put any cash out of pocket, and they want a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, whatever, in by Lake Travis. That's Lake Travis, right, Austin? Right over there. Okay, cool. Whatever, right? And then, but they want their payment not to exceed $4,000. Okay, they gave it to you. Then what you're going to do before you hang up that call? Great. You know what, John? What I'd like to do? I'd love to stop by, or I could do a Zoom call for 10 minutes, whatever works for you. I got time later today at 5 o'clock or tomorrow at 4:30. What works better for you? At a minimum, do a Zoom call, because it's just a preliminary number. I actually like doing more Zooms in these situations than face-to-faces, because they're not even there yet. Like this is a 2-step listing appointment. First step is investigation, seeking to understand numbers. Can I do this? Oh man, let me talk to my wife. Wow, this is awesome. Boom. Then the second appointment is the actual appointment. You go to list the property, do a walkthrough, talk about decluttering, repairs, touch-ups, game plan, etc. Make sense?
Well, see, you know what I heard, what you just said right now? Like, I hope everybody got this. Yes, he's got his script. It's awesome, but there's depth, right? So there's some technicality, right? And you guys, like, if you're doing anything, you got to get the reps in. You sound smooth, not because you're Fred said, but because you're Fred said, who has done this 1,000 times.
Yeah, pretty much. Time on task over time, like Ben says.
Always.
I have time on task over time more than a lot of you. But it doesn't mean that you can't outpace me real quick if you start making massive activities. And you do what Ben told Adelina and the leaders on this call about a couple weeks ago, that we have to be doing abnormal amount of activities during an abnormal market.
Oh, I write that down. Abnormal amount of activities for an abnormal market. Absolutely. What's funny is we don't change when the market changes, like that's what hinders us, right? Like, and we talk about the Austin team, right? When we started Austin, we were trying to do what Bellingham was doing, which was like 50 dials a week. And we were like dying, right? Remember, we had 8 closings in 6 months with 10 people. That's horrible, right? And we decided to change that up, and we started doing 750 dials, which was much more than the 50 dials in Bellingham. But that's what it took in our market. So abnormal activities for an abnormal market. Right on.
Yep.
What's your headset? I'm getting a lot of questions for that. What awesome headset do you have? Your voice is just coming across so good, and people are just, I mean, they are, I'm scared some people might move to your area and join your team at this point. They are really into it. All right, it's on your screen. If you have zoned out, I would at least zone in for this.
Oh, I know what it is. Hold on. Boom, there it is. That one.
Which one?
Hold on. But this is wired. So I use this headset for trainings and Zoom calls. This is a USB that connects into the wire, right?
Huh?
When it comes to like phone prospecting, I'm using my cell phone and I'm doing my AirPods.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
There is one that I used to use. Okay, you guys got me on my Amazon now. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna buy stuff now. Son of a bitch. Okay, hold on. Blue Parrot headset. My team, I used to use this all the time when I used to right here. This one right here, Blue Parrot. This is Bluetooth. This can go to your cell phone. It's one-eared, single-eared, not double-eared. This is also pretty good. So one's wired and one's not. One goes in the computer. One goes into cell phone.
I love it. You're awesome. I know you got to drop off your kids. So any last words on sellers, anything that we should know? Like if you came here and you're like, okay, screw LA, screw the OC, I'm gonna start a Texas team. I'm gonna come lead these people. What would you be telling us? Like what do we need to know?
Here's my simplest answer. Real quick, I want you to write something down. I did a podcast with Chad Himes. If anybody knows, there's a podcast called Built How that we have in the Win Make Give network. So I did a podcast a few weeks ago with Chad Himes. I don't want you to listen to it because it's me. I want you to listen to it because I think the content is powerful for what Adelina just said right now. It was an episode that I did a few weeks ago. You can look it up. It was around building a predictable business to do over 100 units a year, as far as 100 listings taken a year. And I talk about the following, and that one's 20 minutes. So what I'm about to say is 1 minute. that will elaborate what I'm about to say, and you'll understand it and internalize it better. You have to be in a mindset that you have two ways that you can run your own book of business in the Texas place world, right? Number one, you could be marketing based and then prospecting enhanced. So you can lead with marketing. You could see if you can buy leads, you could do social media, you could do whatever, right? To bring in leads. And then once you get them, then you work on converting them. Or you're the only other option, in my professional opinion, in this world, which is prospecting based and marketing enhanced. You lead with proactive sales skills and you go hunt for the business. And then you get really good with your scripts and your dialogues, and you can go hunt in any market, in any state, and anywhere, because you have the tools, the techniques, and everything to go after it. And then your marketing enhanced. So then when you have leads you're generating or bringing in, your skills are so damn good that you can convert. That's the basic tip that I have for you to build a sustainable long-term listing-based business. I think in today's marketplace, what we have to understand with sellers is that we are in, Gary Keller said this, I think at Family Reunion, and I think he's one of the biggest geniuses in our industry ever. And he said that I think we're in uncharted territory. He's never seen this type of market in history. Either have I, and I've only done it 18 years. He's done it for 40. We have a market where I think we do have a permanent housing inventory problem. I really do. I've known this since COVID started. I got a weird feeling about it in Southern California, and then it came true. Rates are going up. People don't know where to go. So it's just funky, right? So what that requires, though, is we have to do 2 to 3 times the activity you're doing now. Double or triple it. If you're doing $500 a week, you got to do 1,500. If you're doing 100, you got to do 3,500. You have to. And here's the opportunity. It is Q2, April, May, and June. It's the time of the year where the most amount of listings come on the market. The most amount of buyers and sellers want to buy and sell. We all kill it during the spring and summer, no matter what you're shifting or not. So we're entering a beautiful time. So you have to take the activity, you have to take your unfair share. Unfortunately, the truth is, if you don't do that in a shifting market, you will have to get a job. I mean, that's how I tell my team. And you're in an opportunity in our place world where God knows what's going to happen to us in the next 3 to 5 years in a great way. There's going to be so much opportunity for all of us in this world, as long as we provide the results and we hit the phones. I'm telling you. So don't give up. Be really good. And if anything, do the one-line closes with everybody. So go to the Our Happy Facebook group page. I uploaded the PDF yesterday. Download it, save it, and use it. It's all in there, and you're going to be fine.
I love that. What I heard you say is a lot of us on this call have not been in the business long enough to see any kind of shifting market, right?
Right.
And so we don't have yet the experience of doing 2 to 3 times the amount of activity that, because we've been through shifting markets and we've had to shift, right? And it feels weird to have to shift in a good market, actually, right? Because it feels like a great market. Yeah. And yet the game here is a predictable business. It's not the next transaction. That's great. That's awesome. I'm glad we get to pay our bills next month, right? But the goal is, how do you build a predictable business? And that's how you build a predictable business. Casey said, hunters can control how much they eat. Hunters can control how much they eat.
And Casey and I are hungry.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are all hungry on this call. Some of us are shy or talk about it. Some of us, you can tell, we have gained a little bit of COVID awesomeness, because now we're real hungry. We're gonna lose the weight, and we're also gonna get some listings. Man, Fred, you are awesome. Thank you so much this morning for getting up earlier than you wanted to just show up for us and tell us what you guys are doing in LA and OC. Do you want to put your contact information in and let us know where we can send you some money, aka referrals?
Save my number, 274.
There you go.
It's 274 Fred. 274 Fred. I'm not gonna lie. 949-274
Oh
Fred. That's my
God.
number.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And guys, Fred, I've known Fred a long time. If you ever hit a roadblock, man, hit him up. He is the nicest guy. Like, I know people come on here and it feels like, oh gosh, these people, you know, or they've been doing this a long time and, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're not that kind of company. We're the kind of company that will help anybody out at any time, reach out to him. And certainly with referrals, he's awesome. His team is just as awesome as him. And he's going to be at Built How. For those of you who are going to be at Built How, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
You can see him in person, even better looking. So
Listen. Just please, in your affirmations and your vision boards for Fred said, tiny and mighty 6-pack, tiny and mighty 6-pack, right? That's all I'm talking about.
Right on.
Cool.
Appreciate you guys. See you next week.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you, Texas. We'll see you later. Go get some listings.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Thank you.